Yes, you guys, how you all doing today? I'm FC. This is Blue Lions TV, and today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I do feel like when it comes to my live streams, I really want to start doing a lot more for this new season. I want to start doing call-in shows so you guys have an opportunity to talk, 1v1 with me, so people can join in the conversation. I want to start bringing some more formats and different shows for the live streams. So, it's going to be a little bit of a journey over these next few months. It's going to be exciting. I'm working with another editor again now, and Harrison, the maker, the first guy I used to work with, so obviously big shout out to him. And right now I'm actually on the new YouTube live stream layout, and to be honest, it's a little bit funky, it's a little bit different. Oh, someone's actually here, thank God. So people are actually getting this link. I do feel like YouTube is being really slow today when it comes to sending out notifications. So hopefully as I'm doing this stream, more people are going to join in and obviously get involved. But basically, you guys, this is going to be a Q&A live stream where we're going to talk about the game from last night. I want to start doing post-match live stream shows so we can talk about the game and get invested in that. But before I continue on answering your questions and saying hi, let me get the plug out the way first. You guys, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. Now, I'm constantly stressing the convenience, the usefulness of the app. As you guys can see on the screen right now, it's a great hub to get your news, your stats from the season, updated news from across Europe as well. The OneFootball app gets everything super quick, and even when it comes to just getting a little stat debriefing on a player, that's actually powered by Opta. So right now, it's a very exciting app to get, and what's making things better is that very soon they're going to be showing live Korean League football games. So if you guys are interested in looking in some, continental football in Asia, the OneFootball app is the app for you. So if you guys want to try out for yourselves, basically, you'll find a link below straight in the description. And without wasting no more time, you guys, we're moving to the Q&A live stream today. I'm going to be on for the next half an hour, and yeah, let's just see how things go. So I'm going to start off how you guys are doing. Nini, we are better than Arsenal. Hey, of course, man. Of course, let's not forget that. Son of Chelsea, yes, Daniel, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on. Best Chelsea channel. I've got a lot more work to do. There's some great channels, obviously George Benson, Football Therapy. Obviously, I'm going to say Son of Chelsea too. Great content, great studios out. I do feel that right now, if you're a Chelsea fan, you have the best of both worlds when it comes to your content creators. You've got all the content creators you would possibly want and need. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good season for all of us. But, I'm looking forward to this stream. I'm looking forward to seeing what people's opinions are going to be on the game. I'm hoping that I get a variety of different opinions. I'm hoping it's not all going to be just some doom and gloom, Lampard out, this player out, Mount out, everyone out, new team, new... Nah, hopefully not tonight. You guys, real talk, Twitter was so depressing last night. I just hope it's not going to be like that on the stream. But I want to find the first question. Of course, if you guys want your question to be prioritized, then do send a super chat. That way I can spend more time, and that way you can obviously have your question prioritized. So do not forget that. I'm going to look for the first question on screen, and the one that is sticking out for me, Alex Cunningham. Alex Cunningham, will Mendy start for us from now on? You know what? I'm starting to get the vibe that maybe that's going to be the case. The fact that Mendy played straight away versus Tottenham, he's only been here for a tiny bit, hasn't trained as much. It kind of tells you everything that you need to know. Kepa was shown, sent straight to the stands very quickly, straight to that sub bench, and just seeing that Mendy performance versus Spurs, we were seeing a lot of things that we don't typically see from our goalkeepers. Now, I saw some funny tweet from some rival fan talking about, wow, I didn't realize how bad Kepa was, because Chelsea fans are getting overly gassed when it comes to all the basics that Mendy's doing. So, honestly, it is the time to get gassed, because now no more unnecessary mistakes. Now we have someone that is confident, collecting and receiving inside the box. He's strong. Everything sticks to his hands like glue. That's the type of confidence that our defense needs. That's the type of confidence that the entire team needs. And I do think now that we have Mendy in that 6-yard box, I personally do feel like opposition teams now are going to have to maybe adapt their tactics a tiny bit, because now they can't catch us out in those areas. So I feel like Mendy's going to bring an instant type of quality to the defense. And personally, I do feel like after the mistakes we've already seen from Kepa. I mean, he's continuing from last season, and yeah, you know, last season wasn't too long ago. I do feel like maybe now let's give time for Mendy to fully grow and fully do his thing. But let me go on. Tyrese Harrison, I think we need a DM for this window. Your thoughts? I mean, 1,000,000,000%. You guys have heard my criticism of our midfield for a long ass time now. You know, when I critique, honestly, there's no hate. Aspects of Jorginho's game I really do like. I do like his ability to be like the manager on the field. He organizes the press really well. He clearly has a ridiculously high and strong tactical understanding. But I just feel personally that the way we're playing football, with how expansive it is, and that focus on speed and covering lots of ground and just having to be more influential with the passes from deep, I do feel like maybe this doesn't suit Jorginho's game as much, and he'd be better in a 3, playing a different style of football. So that's my thoughts on that. You know, alongside him with Cover is another guy I've praised so much on this channel. I was one of the only guys recommending that we sign him back when he was playing for Sarri, when people were like, Cover, we can't sign this guy, he's got to go, we got to move him on. I've actually resigned him. But you know what, for me with Cover, even though I love how he plays, I love his aesthetics, I do feel sometimes there's like this, you know, style over substance at times. Now, yeah, Cover is amazing to see because he makes them hard things look very easy on the eye. You know, a nice little piece of skill. I'm always going on about his little cover skill he has where, you know, the opposition player's coming towards him, the ball's coming his way, he stops the ball, waits for this guy to come close, then he pushes it into the space in behind that vacated player. It works every single time. He must use that skill at least, 5 times a game. And it just sums up how he thinks and how he can just utilize his skills. But for me, you've got to show more substance with the passing in the final third. I think that's what kind of lets down Cover in a way. I don't see enough of the quality. I don't see enough of the penetration. I don't see enough of him helping the team out. And in games like Spurs, we kind of see lots of pointless sideways passes because, you know, these guys kind of have a bit too much fun playing five-a-side. That's my personal opinion on things, but we can't obviously go on continuing with a midfield like this. I do feel like we've been caught out throughout the entire season. They've done their best. You know, these guys aren't really tailor-made for this style of football, but I do feel like it's time to sign a DM. Personally, I do think Declan Rice could be that guy. I do feel like he was never really going to play in defense. He's been playing in midfield for how long? And when you analyze the improvements he's made in his game from, you know, a 17-year-old to now at 21, 22, first time passes between the lines. He can find people, you know, play balls to the feet through very tight areas. He can start attacks. He can start that tempo. Plus, he's got the speeds. And I do feel like he is a very good player that will only improve now that he's potentially going to sign for, obviously, a club like us. So let's see what happens in those regards. Let's see if we can finalize this move for Declan Rice. But I'm hoping no one's actually sent super chats right now, because with this new YouTube layout, I really don't understand where I'm supposed to find them, if anyone has. So if anyone has, I do apologize. I don't think no one has just yet, to be fair. But anyway, let me continue on. Let me find some questions. Who's standing out? I mean, you guys can see for yourself. You know, I've got the chat right open right now. You know, it is hard to like pick the best question and do things smoothly. Brandon, hey Nini, I've been watching the channel since the other guy ran the channel before you did. You have done wonders and keep me as a Chelsea fan sane. Thank you, Brandon. That's obviously a lot to hear. You know, it's how I personally see football. You know, I'm someone where it's like, if I learn from something and I understand how something works, you know, I have to show that I've learned from that. I have to show that I've understood that. You know, I don't like being reactionary. I do like to maybe take my time to process things, think a little bit. Because for me, you know, accuracy, truth, you know, old-fashioned things like that no one really cares about no more. You know, maybe I have some of these old-fashioned principles, that these are things that I respect. These are things that I strive for. And, you know, it is important to me to make sure that, you know, when I speak or give opinions, you know, I am doing a little bit of research. I am hypothesizing. I am testing out my theories. You know, there's so many ideas I have on the game. If I don't think they're right, I never put them in videos. You know what I mean? So obviously I appreciate that, Brandon. It does mean a lot. And to move on to the next question, Daniel Boy, literally perfect timing. Hi, The best possible front three, all fit, thanks. Of course, I got to see Pulisic in there. I mean, that's obvious. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw his little Twitch stream earlier. What's his name on Twitch? Something Figo, Nutty Figo or something like that. He has to explain that name. I think he has to let us all in on, you know, the ideas behind that name. But I got to see Pulisic in the front three. The way he stepped up, especially during the restart, really impressed me. You've seen the obvious improvements in this game, and you know, as I've said so many times, I really have changed my opinion a lot on Christian Pulisic. So that tells you everything you need to know about the player. So it'll be him. Damn, it is hard. Front three. Obviously Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, but you know, at the same time, now with the players we have, with Frank Lampard, the team, what we're trying to build, it really is going to be a case of using the best possible lineup depending on the opposition you use. So for example, let's say we were to use like a 4-3-3, but we want to use more like traditional wingers in like a Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, and maybe a Tammy Werner up front. We can do that. If we want to have more playmakers there, we can move like a Ziyech there. Obviously Kai can play there too. Kai can play as a false nine. So much rotation. I mean, personally, I have to see us play a few more games. I think that I'm definitely in the learning stage. I'm just trying to, you know, take things on board. I'm trying to understand what I'm seeing on the field. I'm trying to understand where things might be leading towards. But, you know, I need to see a few more games first just to fully understand, you know, what the deal is for this season. You know what I mean? But, you know what, actually, if it is my front three, maybe Pulisic, Werner. Would I have Ziyech as part of the front three or in midfield? I mean, we've got options this season, you know what I mean? So it definitely is. It's a great time to be alive, basically. But let me continue on. I think there is another super chat. You two, man. Why you gotta stress me out today? Sorry, you guys, bear with me. Dan, yes, Dan, how you doing, man? Ever thought about a podcast, bro? Need that. Yeah, I have thought about a podcast, but you know, I could have done a podcast very like easily, but I'm all about, I need to find some substance. I can't just create something for the sake of it. I mean, of course, with my the size I have, I could probably do like a lot of stuff like that, but I gotta find like a reason. I gotta find the quality. Ideally, I wouldn't mind doing it with someone, because I think podcasts are the best when you have a host, there's, you know, organic discussions, etc, etc. That's how I like to do that. So it is definitely something that I would like to do eventually, but I think right now I'm trying to prioritize on things like really like finalizing the vision of the channel. I've been having some issues with my stupid PC as well, the inconsistency. It's been really peak this month when it comes to not releasing content. So my actual priority is waiting for them to get these graphics cards back in the market so I can upgrade my computer and not stress out anymore and just have all my days completely ruined every day. So that's how I am right now, to be honest. But yeah, it's been annoying. It's been annoying, but you know what I mean. Right now, I can't complain too much. In this world, there's always people that have it a lot harder, so I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Moving on to Samuel Bergio. Hey Nini, I love your channel. Thanks for that, man. Keep up the good work. Where is it? Makes me always look at the positives before the negatives, and a lot of the fans fail to remember that we are building towards a great title-winning team. Yeah, exactly. You know, at times I feel like maybe some people think I'm just like giving out some verbal diarrhea and, you know, making up excuses. I mean, to be honest, nah. If I wasn't happy with something, I would just say it. You know, it's not like I've got any personal affinity to anyone. You know, I just, honestly, just a genuine opinion. I like to try and think about how the manager sees things. I think from a fan side, we can be a bit skewed with our understanding. Sometimes we only see things like up to a certain perspective because we're seeing it through like fan lenses. But for me, you know, I like to try and understand how this football thing really works. You know, every time I read an interview, every time that I'm listening to a press conference, reading an article, there's always an opportunity to just like fully grow and build that understanding of just how this football industry really works. What is the manager's thought process? What is the thought process of the players, etc., etc. And you know, I'm someone that likes to think a lot. I'm quite introspective in that sense. So yeah, you know, just applying those things to the reality with the team right now. It's obvious that the team needs time. It's obvious that the lack of preseason is affecting things. It's obvious that obviously having players out injured too doesn't help. And it's obvious that conditioning needs to be used in these recent few games for the start of the season. I think that's just quite obvious. I understand the frustration. You've been excited to see these guys start the entire season. You want to see instant results and success, but I just don't personally think it's ever really worked like that. I think the most successful teams always had a plan, a philosophy they stuck to, built upon, and just let blossom. We've never done that. We've always been a short-term priority club. And I think in a sense that kind of conditions the fan base. You know, I do feel like because we actually saw our first success under Jose Mourinho, you know, he kind of instilled this mentality that we could only win a certain way. He kind of fooled us into thinking that there's only one Chelsea way of playing, which was never the case because Mourinho just doesn't care. You know, Mourinho has teams play for him. That's how it actually works with him. And I do think that because for a lot of us, that's how we saw our first glimpses of success. You know, back when we were winning titles back then, I was like, how old was I? Like, what, 9, 10, something like that. So, you know, of course, that shaped my philosophy and understanding of the game as well. Like, you know, just to like expand on that, I remember when we first signed Eden Hazard, and when, no, sorry, I'm saying that wrong. When we had Hazard here, when we signed Jose Mourinho, I remember my first thought when I was younger was, oh, shit, we've got Hazard, Mourinho's going to make Hazard more complete. Hazard's going to learn how to track back and work for the team. And, you know, in hindsight now, maybe that was just like the failing of Mourinho. You know, expecting Hazard to do those things that he's not really brought forth to do never made sense. And in the end, it cost us one of the most infamous games where we lost to Atletico Madrid in the UCL semi-final. One of the worst games of my entire life. The only time ever I felt tempted to leave, like, before the game ended, because on the 60th minute the game was over and there was no way we were getting back in it. So for me, that was when I realized, okay, just because I've seen success from like a certain manager doesn't mean that I have to always apply that to everything. You know, I need to adapt to how I see things, understand things. And you know, but Lampard right now, I get the vibe of what he's doing. It's quite obvious that he needs time, and I'm just hoping that, you know, people will have that patience. But to be honest, I think once we show that bit of form and that synergy and that team cohesion, I feel that a lot of the worries in the fan base online, I feel like that's just going to come down and people are going to relax. So yeah, man, thank you for that question. Thank you for the support. Obviously, it's safe to everyone for just always like showing love. Yeah, it does mean a lot. But let me continue on. I have another super chat right here from Francis. Thank you, Francis. Hazard back equals UCL trophy. You know, I was tweeting about this earlier today. I'm just thinking, like, imagine if we kept Eden Hazard. I didn't sell him to Real Madrid. You know, Hazard's in this team where we're trying to play attacking football. We're doing new things that we haven't normally done. We're trying to, you know, have teams, you know, we want these teams to, I know what I want to say, but I just can't even get it out of my head, you guys. Apologies for that. But, you know, Eden Hazard in this team, space on the left-hand side, a fullback in like Ben that has pace in behind that can do 1-2s with. I think those things make a big difference. Having guys to link up between the lines with two makes a big difference. And I just think with the space that we create on the left-hand side, I feel like Hazard would have so much fun going 1v1 and beating his man. And I think that's the thing I miss the absolute most about Hazard, was his ability to just turn a game on like that, to take responsibility in games, to skip past his man, to attack the spaces, to create havoc. I think sometimes the vibe I get with the team right now is that things can be a bit too methodical at times. Sometimes I want to see that little bit of genius, that bit of improvisation. I do think that will come eventually once everyone is fully grown and confident and, you know, just fully doing their thing. But if Hazard was here, I guarantee that we'd be a lot higher up the table. I guarantee that we're scoring a lot more goals, and the team's looking even better in the final third. So I don't know. Of course, it's sad for him that he's got another injury, another muscular issue. Like I get wanting to play for Real Madrid. I do get that. It's been like a childhood ambition, but to sign for them right now, you know, I always felt like you're signing for Madrid at the wrong time. Yeah, they won the league title last season, but, you know, soon that team needs to get absolutely revamped. They're going to be going in the market to sign other players, to revamp other players, and you know, I feel like Madrid are going to be in a transition phase soon, and you know, Hazard right now, he's just injured left, right and centre, hasn't had any impact, and you know, I am starting to worry a little bit for him. But you guys, let me continue on, finding some more questions. Okay. Sahu, Nini, should we try to sign Samari from Lille or Camavinga because they are better and cheaper than Rice? Now, I'm not gonna obviously slander Declan Rice. Honestly, the reason why I say this is because originally I kind of just dismiss anything Rice related. I'm being serious, you know, especially like during the earlier stages. I was just like, yeah, you know, he's obviously got qualities to play at this level. So young for West Ham. He came from our academy, but I genuinely do think that he has made some massive improvements in his game. And not that he didn't have them before, but he's got a lot better at them. I think I think that recent game versus Wolves, where Rice basically just set the entire precedent. Playing them passes between the lines, hitting them passes with pace, first time balls, you know. This guy is a football player. He's come from our academy, it's no surprise. And I do think that he has those vocal abilities that we need in midfield. He has that personality, and he has the ability to do something with this team. So let's not write off Declan Rice like that. But at the same time, you know, Sumari, Camavinga, I mean, you know, Camavinga, what, 17, nearly 18? I mean, this guy's an absolute mad player, but, you know, when you sign him, we have like a Billy Gilmore. That effectively is kind of just ending the career of a Gilmore if you sign a Camavinga. So I do think there are those like type of details that I look at too, but you know, Camavinga, if he's on the market, who knows? I'm not gonna say no to quality, you guys. I'm not gonna say no to that. And of course, with Sumari, Napoli right now being linked with him. Let's hope that move doesn't go through. But to be honest, right now, the vibes I'm getting is that Declan Rice could be that final guy we're signing before this window ends. So that's how things are looking like right now, you guys. Let's see how it goes. But let me continue on. Okay, Nicola. What's our weakest position in the starting 11? I think it's obvious. I think it's midfield. I've been critiquing midfield since last season. Yeah, covering Jorginho for certain games against your bottom 10 teams. Yeah, you can get away with that, of course. But I just think in the games that matter, games against stronger opposition, I feel like even though they have their certain qualities, they also have the negatives that go with that too. Defensively off the ball, come on, like, I mean, I'm not mad at them because I know that these players can't do it. So this is why I'm not like, you know, being personal or like sending hate or constantly moaning, because, you know, just as it was with Morata when we signed him, I already knew that we were signing a player that was kind of mid-tier. I not even know that already. So when he was missing his opportunities, I couldn't get mad when I knew this was going to happen. And it's the same vibe I get from Cover and George. I think that Lampard found a very intelligent way to try and get some usefulness from them. I really think he did. I think he should get credit for that. I think that, you know, using Jorginho's ability to play those like 5-yard passes like a Cover who can then use his skill of, you know, great press resistance to beat his man and, you know, break the lines, etc. I feel like their two strengths complement, and at times you can see some, you know, sexy looking football and some nice pieces of play. But for me, there's got to be substance, man. I do feel like a lot of times when I'm seeing some of the stuff said about them on social media, we're constantly forgetting the substance. You know, we have to see the passes. We have to see how they use possession, what they're doing with possession. And I think that they're not really doing enough. And to be honest, I think out of both of them, the one that kind of frustrates me more and has been frustrating me over the past few months, and just because I'm frustrated doesn't mean I hate the player or don't rate them, it has been Kovacic, and that's because his passing on the ball just doesn't really aid the team. I'm not seeing penetration in the final thirds. I get the vibe that both our midfield are much better in our own half, but the moment it comes to crossing into the opposition's territory in the other half, it doesn't translate. The passing's not there. They're not playing balls quickly enough out wide. I feel like things are breaking down. The lack of communication, constantly just being too far ahead of the play. I don't see the midfield and the defense talking enough, and I think it's a combination of not just those two, but from everyone. So if we get the midfield, because in football, you need to have a midfield that's patterned. You need to have a midfield that is strong, because honestly, what team has ever won anything in this game with a terrible midfield or a poor midfield? It doesn't work. It doesn't happen like that. You need to have the midfield. That is the crucial part of the team, and I do feel like we need to see some changes in there, you guys, honestly. But anyway, let me continue on. Moving on to Callum Ross. Yes, Callum, man, good to see you here. Nini, if both left backs were sold, would you buy a new left back or a new right back and move Aspie to left back, or even give Maatsen a go? With Maatsen, I get the vibe that he most likely might need some loan time. Obviously, frustrating that we're knocked out of the Carabao Cup. This would have been an amazing opportunity to give some of these young guys like your Andurins and hopefully Oliver Romento and players like this an opportunity. But, it's not going to be the case. And I maybe think that maybe Maatsen might be someone for next season. And it wouldn't surprise me if he was to move out on loan before the window ends, or even move out on loan in January. So that's how I see his situation. If we were to sell both fullbacks, which I don't think will happen now, I think only one will leave on loan, and right now there's a strong possibility that's going to be Marcos Alonso, and it's fairly obvious. Alonso clearly not happy at being subbed off against West Brom, wanting to watch the rest of the game on the team coach, pissing off Frank Lampard's not going to tolerate that, and the moment that happened, that effectively sealed Alonso's future, which I'm sure he wasn't surprised by. So I do see him going, and at least Emerson, just staying here for now, just doing something, But I have to say it's been disappointing, because there has not been one positive, strong reaction from the fullbacks ever since Ben signed. Now, I've been hypothesizing, is there like a possibility? Am I thinking too deep into things that maybe, if I'm if I'm Emerson and Alonso, and I've been linked with a move away from the club for over 12 months. It's been very public. The manager's made things very public too. In a sense, I have been kind of discredited. Why am I going to feel motivated to play for the team? I wanted to secure, both fullbacks wanted to secure moves back to Italy. They've been priced out of moves so far. So in that sense, I don't know if I'm thinking into things too much, but maybe there's a little bit of frustration and dissent, and maybe that's why we saw that reaction from Marcos Alonso. So, I've said for a while in my news videos, ideally I would love to get two fullbacks, but I think for now, Aspilicueta down the left is a good backup. I do think that maybe an Emerson might stay, and to be honest, I don't really see us maybe signing another fullback right now. If we did, it would be really surprising, but I'm not too sure. Especially when guys like Castagna went to Leicester City, because I told you guys that we actually were even looking at him and held inquiries with Atalanta, and he's the type of guy that can play down both flanks and would be a great backup option. But I don't know, something tells me that maybe next season we're going to see maybe another fullback sign for competition. So that's how it's going to go. But you guys, let me move on to the super chats. I have two right here. One second. Let's get it, let's go. The Green Turf, yes, Green. Hey, how you doing, bro? Hey, man, your channel is absolutely blowing up. Obviously, putting that work in, grinding really hard, trying to find creative ideas to boost what you're doing. I'm seeing what you're doing. I'm respecting it. Obviously, I appreciate that, man. And hopefully, when you do your own live stream, I'm gonna make sure that I'm on for that one. Of course, backed it for so long. I appreciate that, man, and keep doing your thing. Honestly, keep doing your thing. But I'm going to move on to the next super chat. Thank you to Pogba, Team of the Year, Pogba Matuidi. If we had Sarri now, would we be title challengers? Sarri does need a number 8. Ruben's been out. I think Mason playing consistently there probably would have a lot more fun than, you know, playing these different positions in the team. Fullbacks, we've got Ben, got Thiago who can pass. Pulisic, you know, he's someone that's very happy running inside the book. Same thing with Werner as well. Kai as well. Oh, I think title challenges, to be honest, I would probably say yeah, to keep things real. I mean, let's not forget that Sarri won the Serie A with Juventus. Of course, I understand some of the critiques around his ideas. I do get it. But at the same time, even though they might not be as exciting, they could be a bit boring. It does bring some success. And I do feel now with the team we have, I mean, of course, I think that Sarri would do a lot better with this current team compared to the team he originally inherited. So, hey, there's a possibility. I still like Sarri. You know, I think the one thing I really love about Sarri is just how he actually made it as a manager. It really surprised me in this country when he was here. That was one aspect about him that was never really spoken about or really glorified. I mean, this guy was literally like a regular guy like me and you. Right from the bottom, managing semi-pro teams, managing conference level teams, managing conference level teams for like a good 10-15 years before getting his opportunities, and you know, constantly getting promoted with teams going to like Serie B, then to go back down to Serie C. His passion for the game, his love for the game was what gave him that determination to keep going and going and going. So honestly, when he won the Serie A with Juventus, I was very happy for him. I think his character is completely misunderstood. He's old school. He's not sensationalist. I like his character. I think it was absolutely... I thought people were really quite mean with him here, forgetting that this guy doesn't speak full English properly, so he ain't going to express himself perfectly. So like when people are using the whole Kante Jorginho thing against him, I just sort of was like, you know, settle down a bit. This guy don't even speak the language natively. Let's be a bit easy on him. So yeah, I do think that Sarri could do something. You guys in the comments, I wonder what you're thinking too. But let me continue on. Let me continue. It is really hard to find questions and do things that are super smooth. Answer B, Nini. If we don't get Declan Rice and RLC is loaned out, do you think we should sign Partey from Atletico Madrid? I think Partey is definitely an interesting player. Of course, he can play in a pivot, can play in a 3, so tick, tick, tick. He's someone that I've seen more of when he was younger actually compared to now, because recently I haven't really watched Atletico Madrid whatsoever. So, you know, seeing Partey starting to get his first minutes at the club, starting to, you know, wait really patiently to get his moment, because he had to really wait for Gabby to leave before he was really given the possibility of playing more first team football. And even then, when Gabby was still there, you know, a very underrated player. You know, Partey had to show in the opportunities he was given that he could be relied upon, and I think that's something he definitely did. Since then, he's blossomed, he's grown and grown. It seems he's got quite a realistic, affordable release clause set at around 50 million euros. Business could be done there, who knows? But I don't know, I'm just thinking about the creativity of the passes. I think ideally, I want a midfield player, if we are going to sign one, who is going to be better at actually creating opportunities with his passes. You know, sometimes I think that if this team had like, you know, the 14-15 Cesc Fabregas, I mean, you guys were right at the top of the table, honestly. But yeah, I want to see more of a midfield player that can move that ball more, can progress the ball, is going to kickstart those attacks. And I don't know if Partey really is that guy, to be honest. I kind of get more Kante vibes, so ideally I probably wouldn't go for him. But I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to wrap things up pretty soon, you guys, because I'm very hungry right now. Oops, let me get rid of the spam right here. Okay, let me find one. Cristobal Levados, you are the best, Nini. I appreciate that, bro. Thanks a lot. Stefan, hey man, where Declan Rice will play if he come, CDM or centre back or both, probably will be a bit of both, but I think mainly more in midfield. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying things about, of course, we saw the reports about playing in defence. Even when that was the case, I was still thinking in my head, okay, you want to sign a guy that's been playing midfield for the past, 3 years, and now moving into defence. I mean, I don't know if it works like that, but I do think that when you see Rice, I think he's better as a midfield player. So that's how I see him. Continuing on, Ray Dalipi. If you had the opportunity to replace Lampard with Pochettino, would you do it? I think Poch will get the most out of the squads. No, I wouldn't. I think this really frustrates me. I feel that, to be honest, it is absolutely crazy that people are making such quick, definitive opinions where most times people don't even clock what the system is or even know what's happening. And we haven't even seen the team fully rolling, fully doing their thing. So I do think people need to calm down and wait. I'm not going to be pandering. I'm not going to be giving the popular opinion. I personally think that's wrong. The people that don't get this, I don't know, I find it frustrating. I think Lampard has shown enough already. We've seen small glimpses too that there are slight improvements. And of course, due to the reality of life now, COVID, no pre-season, injuries as well, again, obviously things are going to slow down. You know what I mean? We got to condition players. We have to, there's been context for every lineup used, and I don't know, sometimes I get a bit bored talking about context. It's quite obvious that quite a few people today don't really care about it at all, and I guess if the result's not instant in front of someone's face, then that's it. Yeah, I think people who are doubting Lampard need to give him more time, need to wait. I would wait until January, until we see everyone fully firing, until I see at least 10 games of a lineup that has Ziyech, Chilwell, Kai, Werner, etc. Wait till then and then make final judgments. But anyway, let me continue on. J2 Nini, do you think Thiago would have been the perfect mid for us? I mean, yeah, of course, 100% would have been the perfect one. And it's funny that when I told you guys that I was hearing rumours about links to Thiago, in the end, it was actually true. It seemed like it was about the price in the end, and Thiago wanting Liverpool for some reason, just really desperate to sign for them. But I do think that a profile of a player like this would make a massive difference. Just imagining him and Kante together, oof, good lords, ooh, that would have been absolutely mad. But moving on. DZ Nini, do you think we really play 4-3-3 with two number 8s, or do you think we are leaning towards a 4-2-3-1? Well, we kind of use both in game. It does depend on the moment in the game. Now, I think the prime example of this was versus Liverpool actually in the first half, because we saw about 3 different formations. We saw us off the ball. We were like a 4-1-4-1, and that was good to see. That was why in that first half, our defense positioning looked very good, very solid, a lot better than anything we saw from last season. And that was an example of how we found maybe a new defensive structure to obviously just keep things solid at the back. When we started to create opportunities versus Liverpool though, that was when we actually moved to a 4-3-3, where we had a DM sitting behind, the 2 8s in front, obviously Kai, Werner, Havertz, and it was very interesting to see Havertz moving up front, because we can't forget everyone's moaning about Havertz not having his favorite position, and it's just got me thinking, we've all spoken about Havertz for God knows how long. I know you guys are watching, or some of you guys are watching Havertz during the restart season in the Bundesliga. I think by now we need to understand that this guy can play in many positions to a high level. During the restart for Bayer Leverkusen, he was playing up front as a false 9, and that's why he was banging in the goals. I think he scored 7 goals in 7 games. We've seen him play as a 10 during the start of the season. We've seen him move out wide as well. Havertz can do all of that to a very high level, and that's what we're trying to incorporate in the team. That's why we saw Havertz playing that way versus Liverpool, and that's more of what I think we are going to see as the season goes on. So for me, this is why I need to see more games played, because I can't just talk about every single detail I've seen in such a handful of games. I mean, for someone like me that cares about trying to, stress test my opinions, try and put some accurate shit out there. Basically, I need to see more. So this is why I'm not going to be falling in that trap of giving definitive statements and answers when right now ain't the time, to be honest. But yeah, you know, I feel like once I get an understanding more, I'm going to do a video just breaking down the tactics, how we're playing, you know, getting a lot of the vibes of how things are supposed to be, what we're actually doing. I do think it's going to be very exciting once we see that full strength team. Once I see guys like Kai maybe interchange with Ziyech sometimes, Ziyech moving into the 8th position, seeing Kai move up to be a false 9, you know, actually watching him play for Leverkusen where he's played up front a lot. I mean, this guy can play as a striker, and it's exciting to think that, let's say in the future as things really evolve, could Kai even one day be like a proper false 9 striker? It would not surprise me. I think it would be very exciting, and this is why we got to just sit back, have some faith in the management, because they're not idiots. Lampard is not an idiot. The results in these games haven't come down to structural tactical issues. They've come down to individual moments in game. We saw Thiago Silva make one. When does that ever happen? We saw Alonso put in a typical Alonso performance, which means we'll never see this guy again. We saw Emerson come on and just act like a complete fool. I'm sorry. Wow. I was so angry when I saw Emerson do that, because I think we all saw it from a mile off. Where the hell are you? Why aren't you getting the damn books? Yeah, people are saying, oh, it comes down to coaching and blah, blah, blah. But you guys, these guys are working on that in training. Our issue is that we can't consistently keep up the quality. That's the main thing. And I think that with our new guys and what we're trying to do, we will do that. But I think until that happens, we're going to be a bit 50-50 at times. So, again, let's have faith. Let's have patience. There's a plan happening here. We didn't just buy all these guys for no reason. We didn't let Lampard have the say for no reason. Honestly, in the future, I just guarantee that things will be fine. Perspectives will be different, and everyone's going to forget about the negativity during these times. But you guys, I'm going to be on for 5 more minutes because my belly is rumbling louder and louder. I'm getting hungry. Bay's whipping up something nice in the kitchen, chefing up something good. It smells good too. Let me move on. Brizaj B, why don't you collab with George Benson? Who knows, maybe some point this season something like that will happen. The Haas, surely we won't loan ROC if Rice isn't confirmed. I can see us. Ooh, obviously with some Rice information, you know, I'll keep it real. I'm hearing some things. Ideally, I prefer to actually make a video tomorrow, but I think by tomorrow morning I'll find out what I can say, what I can't say. You know, I like to keep things honest. That's why I've been fortunate enough to hear things, and hopefully it can just always be like that. So hopefully I've got the Raz video out tomorrow from what I'm hearing, but yeah, it's sounding optimistic. It is sounding optimistic. But to continue on, Andy. Hey man, sorry if you mentioned it already, but what's the latest on Rice? Oh, I literally just said it. Prince Godwin, Lampard is not good enough. This is why I want to bring back the Q&A show. I said that's so dumb. I want to bring back the subscriber calling show, because it would be fun to just have proper debates. I can fully hear the perspective of what people are actually thinking and feeling, because I do feel, obviously, like through socials, no one's gonna fully like write down and express like what their mindset is, because there's only like a limited amount of characters, you know what I mean? But I want to bring a show like this just so I can fully have a discussion going. I do think that, you know, things are quite polarizing right now. Some people just have told themselves Lampard is bad. I'm sure if I was to debate them, I'm sure that once I stress test what their theories are, I'm sure it won't add up. But that's only what I'm thinking right now. Who knows, maybe I might be surprised, but I don't think so. Reese Gaming, do you think Mendy will make our defense more confident? I think we already saw that in the game versus Spurs, so 100%. Who else? Edwards Quintero. Don't you think our midfield has just as big a role in our defensive mistakes? Yes, Eduardo, yeah. I mean, 1,000,000%. You know, it's about the team structure, team shape. Most of our mistakes are collective efforts. And when I say that, it's because when a mistake happens, it's about maybe 3 or 4 players that have made a dumb mistake that have led to a moment. So personally, I just feel that a lot of that comes down to having maybe players that, if you want to become that elite club, you wouldn't really keep them on boards because they aren't those elite style players. I say that because, you know, when you watch a game and you watch like the big teams, like the decision making on the board, the things they do, you know, the passes, the teammates they find, the runs they make, you know, that is the difference between the great teams and a good team. And I do think when you've got your Alonsos and Emersons who, you know, we've seen countlessly make mistakes. You know, when we've seen Cover and George who not once have looked like they've been able to improve defensively because they can't, because it's not in their game. When you have components like that still in the team that you're inheriting, then of course, you know, these mistakes are going to continue and happen. Thank you though. And moving on to the Huss, thank you bro, best CFC channel, so composed and non-reactionary. Thank you guys. You know, it does mean a lot. Like, you know, I watch a lot of football content. When I was getting into YouTube, I was like, listen, I do not want to be another like banter channel. There's already enough of them. I don't want to be like another reactionary account. That's not me. I just want to bring some level discussion. Not everything's crazy, not everything's doom and gloom. I do feel like with a football discussion at times, I wish it could kind of evolve, you know? Like when I see like American sports, when you look at like, you know, fans talking about basketball, NFL, there's a big difference between how those fans will like analyze, discuss, debate their sport compared to how like us Premier League football fans speak about us. I think that with our media, it is quite basic. They don't really challenge the audience at all. And I do think that when you compare it to like the American sports, you know, these guys can talk about plays and tactics and moments that happened like what 20 years ago in one game with one little play or whatever. And I think because of that, like their knowledge is mad. I think that's why stuff like you know, the American, what's that game they play? How's it? You guys, it's the hunger that's making my like focus kind of go a little bit. I apologize, but the fantasy draft, yeah, I think that's why fantasy draft is so mad with like American sports fans and taken so serious, because you know these are fans that are like proper well versed in their game. You know, I hope one day it can be like that in the Prem, because to be honest, you guys, you know, I see the same recycled debates and points made that, you know, get disproven, but then keep resurfacing all the time. It's like this every single season. It does get a bit frustrating. It does get a little bit boring. And I just hope that maybe we can just expand how we talk about our sport. But to be honest, I think that is hard, because I think with those American games, I think there's actually a way where you can watch older games. And I think it's crazy that in, you know, today's world, 2020, if I wanted to see like, let's say a game from last season or a game under Sarri, where would I go? Absolutely nowhere. And I think it kind of conditions everyone to just think about what happens literally yesterday, today, tomorrow, and that's that. Let me continue on. I've got some more super chats. Thank you guys for backing it. Come on. Okay, Ashwin S, thank you, man. I am sick of the hate against Mason. The guy is, oh, super chats, why are you cutting it off? Okay, I am sick of the hate against Mount. The guy is an engine, the energy, he is amazing. If he can play the amount of games, continue with the work rate. Wow. I mean, honestly, Ashwin, I fully agree with you, man. I just think it's the typical, boring, reactionary nonsense, because people obviously are entitled to feel a certain way, but I guess it's hard to really express your grievances. You know, it's always the typical scapegoating. I'm just thinking, I suppose the last game versus West Brom, where Mount was the guy that basically got us back in that game, was excellent, set the tempo, got that excellent first goal to really even give us a chance of doing anything, because we were 3-0 down. Understandable that he'd be a bit tired, and in typical like modern day fan fashion, you know, it's just no support, no like personal affiliation. To be honest, sometimes I do question, what is it that people really even like about the club? What is it that makes people get drawn to a club? Because is it the players? Is it the football? Like, what is it? Because most times with all the moaning, the unfounded moaning, once you actually try to understand it and break it down, I don't understand what the root issue is. You know, Mount, is someone that can play a variety of roles. In the youth academy days, this guy was playing as an attacking mid that can play anywhere between the lines. He can play as a number 8 too. He has his qualities, and as this team grows, as we get that lineup and the players acclimatized, sorted, understanding each other's games, how they like to play, etc., etc., we'll see more consistency. But I'm sorry, the guy is 21 years old. You know, I'm sure a ton of us have seen a lot of the older players. You know, like I remember players like a Schweinsteiger, for example. You know, Schweinsteiger at 22 was playing on the left wing. You know what I mean? So the way the player he became in the end was absolutely different to what he is, to what he was at the start. And you know, this is what naturally happens in football. The way that Mason is now, he's only going to get better with how he passes, how he influences the play, his shooting technique, etc., etc., because that's just how the game works. So yeah, man, it's good that obviously you're supporting him. Hopefully more people too. You know, this nonsense that are, you know, trying to blame him for the loss yesterday. I mean, of course, a player like Mason already knows himself that, yeah, he needs to do better. He's not dumb. He's a professional that is a serious professional, a very serious one. He doesn't need to be told from some randomer in the fan base that he messed up. I mean, duh, obviously he knows that. Sometimes I feel like maybe a bit of support is all that we need to do, and it would be great to see that a bit more often. But anyway, man, thank you, Bastion, for that super chat. I'm going to end with the last one because I got to keep things moving, you guys. Sorry, you guys. Do you think the fluidity in the system will cause problems with the pressing and the defense? No, I don't think so. I do think that with more time, the players playing together more, working and training, I think that's how these things work. You know, let's not act like throughout the entirety of last season, Lampard was literally just doing the best he could with any available fit players. You know, this season's kind of started off in a similar manner, which is quite frustrating, and I think that's why Lampard has maybe used Kai a lot earlier than maybe I thought he would actually do, because, you know, right now these early few games are kind of pre-seasonish in a sense, and I do think that once the players are fully there, the intensity will grow, we'll see the improvements tactically, and you know, I do feel like there is a plan that is going to work, because that's why we signed the players we did in this window. I think the fluidity is something that all these players know what to do. That is nothing to worry about. I think Ziyech at Ajax, the guy would play on the left, on the right as a cam in midfield. Havertz, he would play up front on the left, on the right, and the cam in midfield. Werner, left, right, up front. Even our own players from our academy, Mason Mount's been playing all across the attacking zones. Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham used to play out wide too before moving up front. So this is nothing new. This is, for me, how football is evolving. This is how the game is going to become. This is why we're seeing more of this. This is why there's more players like this around. I think we're trying to future-proof ourselves. I think it's going to work. And I think that as the season progresses, things are going to look great. Now, maybe the timing could be up to around January times where we really see things firing, potentially. That wouldn't surprise me. But, you know, I think that we are going to be in good hands in the future. I feel very confident, you guys. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Obviously, apologies for not going through all the, you know, the questions in the chat. It is a lot. It's annoying that I can't do that, and if I actually did, this would be like a 2-day stream, you know what I mean? But you guys, I'm gonna wrap things up. Thank you for watching. If you want to catch out the other videos I've released today, make sure you do that. And of course, I've released a match review too from yesterday's game, so you guys know how to find that. But anyway, I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. Thank you for you guys for showing the love, support, being involved, questions, super chats, etc., etc. Amazing. And I'll catch you guys soon.